Boom, boom. All right. Welcome to the Do Work Podcast. The Do Work Podcast is a weekly podcast where we discuss all things entrepreneurship, mindset, focus, getting fired up, and just honestly working on becoming the best version of ourselves daily. And today is no different. But before we get started, the one thing I do want to do, hey guys, new apparel here. Business is my sport merch. You can get your business is my sport merch at hardworknoexcusesapparel.com. Use code DOWORK for 20% off, I believe. I forget. I'm not going to lie. But you're going to get a discount. So go to the website, Business is My Sport. 20% off. Use code DOWORK for 20% off. All right, guys, let's get to it. So let's talk about it. Why do people care what other people think? And this is very real because, I think it's an easier said than done concept. I think a lot of people are like, oh, I don't really care what people think. But you do. We do. We've all had moments in our lives where the thoughts of others have prohibited us from making moves, from us really stepping out and doing what needs to be done for us to win. Why are we so overly concerned about what people say about us? You know, the old school saying, sticks and stones may break my bones, but names will never hurt me. For some reason, that does not apply in today's climate because everybody's super offended so easily. And everything that gets said gets taken to heart. It gets taken to heart. So I got to ask you, I was thinking today, I don't know, depending on how old you are. When I was younger, there's a phase in your life where literally you don't care. And when you don't care, there's two phases in life where I feel we don't care. Phase one, from age 1 to 6, you give no fucks. Then there's another phase from age I don't know. I'm going to take it further. It's not in the 60s anymore. It's 70. 70 to 90, you don't give a fuck. And do you know why it is? Because you no longer feel the pressure. In the beginning of your life, you haven't really conformed to all the social norms and expectations. So between the ages of 1 to 6, you're just really living your life. That's when you're taking the most risk. And if you don't believe me, look at small children. They take the most risk during that phase. They're testing the waters. They're jumping off of furniture. You're don't touch the stove. And they're like, are you sure? I'm going to touch it anyway. They're not really worried about what you think. When they get dressed, even, you look at small kids, when they get dressed, one of the cool things is when they get to that age and they're 4 or 5, they're like, I want to dress myself. And they throw on 8 different colors in a Superman cape. They don't care what people think because they haven't had to deal with the societal pressures just yet. Now, as adults, something shifts. We start to see what's expected by society. We start to feel the pressure of wanting to fit in, of wanting to be accepted. So what people think starts to matter a little bit. And let's not sit here and act like to a degree it doesn't. Clearly, especially in today's climate, your social reputation is just is more important than ever. So yes, if everybody thinks you're an asshole, it may prevent you from getting opportunities. So let's not act like it doesn't matter to a degree. But there's something very freeing and really not caring what people think. And I want you to think about the last time you realistically did that. When was the last time you were like, I don't really care what people think? And I guarantee you probably can't think of a last time. It's probably really hard. And the reason is this: we all care. We do to some degree. But the thing is, in caring about what people think, we cannot let it stifle us. We cannot let it hold us back from achieving what we want to achieve. Saying fuck it is very powerful. Saying you're not worried about somebody and how they feel about you is powerful. Because let's be honest, sometimes it hurts. When people don't think what we would like them to think about us or feel the way we want them to feel about us, that hurts. And I'd be sitting here and be very dishonest if I said it hasn't hurt me before. But what you start to learn is this: as you get older, and I think it happens, more in your 40s and your 50s, because I'm gonna be honest, 20-year-olds, y'all care what everybody thinks. If you're in your 20s, because you're still in that space. It's about fitting in and adapting to social norms. And even the people who try to go opposite of what everybody do, to go out their way to be so different, to prove they're so special, even those people, they care what people think. They're more concerned with being an outcast than fitting in. It's the same thing, but just on a different spectrum. So it really gets to a point where you have to ask yourself, why do you worry about what people think? And I have a few simple rules with that. And when I say they're simple, they're like simple. When it comes to what people think, 3 very important things. Number 1, if they are not contributing to your finances and to your household, don't matter what they think. Number 2, if you're not laying in the bed with them every night, if they're not the person you literally have to have sex with every night, it doesn't matter what they think. They're not intimate with you, not part of your circle. And number 3, the person who has so many opinions on bothering you and their thoughts, and they want to give you stuff, if they are not in a space where they're doing better than you, if they're not in a space where they can potentially help you grow or they have insight to certain situations, it don't matter what they think. It's irrelevant what they think. In entrepreneurship, especially, I think it's important to have, it's really important to have mentors. It's really important to reach out to people for insight. But dealing with people and what they think is different. So if you have somebody who's giving you advice, or you have somebody who you consider a mentor, yeah, it matters what they think, because you look to them for that advice and that guidance. Unsolicited advice don't matter. Who cares what they think? People who don't believe in your dreams don't matter. Who cares what they think? They think your hair is ugly. They don't like your shoes. Don't matter. Who cares what they think? And, I love to use the celebrity analogy because most people, I personally like to give it up to celebrities. They do a great job of being unbothered, even when they're bothered, because their life solely revolves around people saying what they think. You look at, for example, the Kardashians. Everything is about what they think. People are always talking about what they think when it comes to that. And they are so unbothered. And yeah, they have times where their feelings are hurt, but they grind, they make their money. You know why? Because what you think, unless it's super negative and affects their bag, they ain't worried about it. You don't like their new boyfriend? They don't care. You don't like the choices they made at Fashion Week? So what? They don't care. Celebrities do a great job of the not caring for the most part. Some of them are a little traumatized. But you have to have that level of, I'm not worried about you. You have to have that level of confidence where you wake up every day, you dress how you want to dress, you say what you want to say. Now, in not caring what people think, you also have to own your shit. So you're probably like, well, Diva, what does this mean? Well, I'll tell you what this means. If you're going to be in a place where you're like, I don't care, you got to own what that comes with. Because sometimes you not caring is going to have some level of repercussion. And that's fine too. But just be there and just own it. It doesn't matter what people think. It doesn't matter how they feel about you, how they see you. And that's hard. That is hard. And I know personally, it took me a long time to get to that point. It took me a long time to get to that point where I really didn't care what people said or did. Everybody's not going to be your fan. Everybody's not going to be your fan. Everyone's not going to be your supporter. Now, also, in not caring what people think, we have to know the difference between hate and constructive criticism. Now, constructive criticism, I still think, and actually I know a lot of people still don't know how to take that. Just recently, I had an incident where I was out teaching and doing a lecture, and we had a situation with some classrooms or whatever. And when they did my class evaluation, somebody said they didn't like the way I responded to the class situation. Now, was that the entire class? No. Do I get bad reviews often? No. But I can't worry about what she thought. That's one person out of 40 people. Now, if everybody was like, oh, Diva handled it poorly, she gave us a terrible class, then yeah, maybe I need to assess my shit, because then it becomes constructive criticism. But you have to know the difference. Hate is simply sometimes people like, oh, I just don't like this. And one of the ways I like to sort it out, when somebody tells me or gives me their solicited or unsolicited opinion on something I'm doing or a project I'm working on, or the first thing I'll ask them is, well, why? Well, Diva, I don't like this. I don't think this is a good idea. Okay, cool. Tell me why, because I think it's a great idea. I know why it's a great idea. I need you to tell me why it's not. And if someone cannot articulate to you why an idea, a project, whatever you're doing or working on doesn't work, then they're not for you. That's hate. That's not criticism. Because anybody who's giving you constructive criticism can give you a why. They can give you a solid why. They can 100% give you a why to why something isn't working. And that's what you want to look for. That's 100% what you want to look for. So the question is why? So you're probably like, well, Diva, how do I get in a habit of not caring what people think? I'm going to tell you how you get in that habit. 1, first thing you do when you get that solicited, any unsolicited advice, unless again, like I said, it's coming from a mentor or somebody who you know really is looking out for you, you're going to have to block it out. 2, not caring what people think. Remember, everyone is not going to see your vision. Your vision is your vision. You see what you need to see. They don't know what your end game is. Even if you say, oh, I explained it, they don't know your end game. Only you know your end game. So why are you going to take advice from somebody who's just giving you negative energy? All right. And the third thing is really this. If someone wants, if they're just, if you just know, you know when people are just being a hater. You know when it's, I like to say, backwards compliments. I can't stand backwards compliments. Things like, oh, that's cute. Or when people call your business little. Or they do the, let me see how that's going to work out for you. You've heard the comments. There's a huge difference. There's a huge difference. And it's important that you take those steps and not worry about what people think. because people's thoughts don't pay your bill. Now, again, like I said, you got 1,000 people in a room, you get 100 bad reviews. I wouldn't worry about it too much. You ain't for everybody, right? Everybody's not going to like you. Everybody's not going to love you. But you get 1,000 people in the room, you get 700 bad reviews, you might have a problem. You might want to assess your shit. And that's the difference. You might want to assess your shit at that point and be like, all right, well, maybe I went too far. And I'll be honest, there are definitely times in my life where I have gone way too far. And somebody had to grab me like, Dave, you can't do that. And I'm like, oh, for real? I can't do that? That's not how that works. I can't just storm out. No, you cannot, Diva. Oh, okay, cool. Got you. We all go too far from time to time. We do. It happens. But the bulk of us can't worry about what people think. I can't stress this enough. The energy you put into those concerns instead of doing what you need to do, you're slowing you up. Oh, yeah, I've definitely stormed out of a few rooms. Yeah, D, definitely stormed out of a few rooms. But I was young. I was young. I wasn't trying to, mesh well with the people. But as you see, I'm a changed woman now. I still get angry, throw tantrums, but that's literally what somebody just said when they was like, she threw a tantrum. And I'm thinking I was upset because y'all were having a bad experience, but okay. Anyway, but it's important, guys, that you really just take in and not worry about what people think. You can't worry about what people think. You can't. It's not conducive to growth. It stunts you because what happens is you start to move or not move because you're moving with fear. You can't make a decision because you're concerned about, well, if I do this, will they like me? If I do this, what are they going to say? If I do this, how are they going to respond? And again, remember, there's base level response, right? There's always base level response. But you can't let it consume you. You can't let it consume you. Fuck what they think. Yo, if you're not doing stuff to harm people, you're not doing no wild stuff. Fuck what they think. To this day, I still have to deal with people worrying about what I do. I remember real rap. I remember when I opened my brick and mortar business, everybody was like, I wouldn't design it like that. I wouldn't put it at that location. You know what, Diva, if I were you, I wouldn't put the ropes here. Like, yo, fuck what you think. This is how I'm designing my building. This is what me and the engineer have been working on. This is what I'm doing. Even when I built out my coaching program, Diva, I don't know if you should do it that way. I ain't trying to coach you. The people who need to hear my message are going to hear my message. Fuck what they think. And it's a lot of power in that. And the more and the sooner you adapt to that, the sooner you will feel so free. You will feel so free. You won't feel so trapped. There is freedom. I am so happy most of the time because I do not care what people think. Unless it's just absolute career suicide and my publicist will pull me in and be like, Diva, you can not do this because of X, Y, and Z. All right, like I said, that goes back to a good critique. But just because you don't like it, just because something's bothering you, come on, son. You can't worry about what people think. Like ever. And I need you, when it comes to finding your voice and finding your place in the world and finding your passion and your identity, the only way you start to find that and solidify it is by not caring what people think. I had somebody tell me, Diva, don't podcast because it's too much work and it's so saturated. And it's hard to get sponsors and on and on and on. And I'm like, I hear you, but I don't care what you think. I'm going to podcast anyway. I don't care if no one ever hears it. I do it for me, and the people who are supposed to get the message. That's it. That's how I navigate life. People say, Diva, how you always, you're so happy. You're not always stressed. Don't get me wrong. I get stressed, but I'm not worried about what people think. I make decisions and I stick with them. I make choices and I own them. And knowing that everyone does not have to be in agreement with my choices. But just to touch on what we talked about last week, you do have to respect the choices. Just give me my respect. Even if you don't bang with my choices, just respect me. Keep it pushing. Say hi, say bye, or maybe don't say anything at all. That's fine as well. But learn that people, your life ain't for people. Your life is for you. Yes, I'm a fan of service. I do believe you should serve others. Because that's what God did. That's what Jesus did. He was a man of service. And I'm big on that. But if people don't rock with you, they don't rock with you. And that's fine. But the more time you spend worrying about what they think, the less time you have to focus on your dream and your vision. It is really that simple. It is. Your dream, your vision. And you don't want to be in a position where that takes you away from your goals. You got to learn to block out the noise. You got to learn to ignore people, them, they. I don't know they. One of my favorite lines, I think DJ Khaled said it. He's so crazy. He said, have you ever seen a hater doing better than you? No. Because people who are winning are not critiquing people who are not doing good. It's just no time. It's just no time. Like, I don't even know how people have energy to do that. It's just no time. Fuck what they think. And if you like, Diva, I'm at work, I can't be saying that. I got you. You in the car, you listen to the podcast, you on the treadmill. Just say it in your head. Say, fuck what they think. I'm going to do me. And even though some of y'all cats is weird, do you. And all your weirdness, do you. Live your life. Just in your effort to live your life, just make sure you don't infringe upon the rights of others. That's the real game right there. That's the real game right there. Live your life. You just can't infringe upon the rights of others. That's all. That's where, to be honest, that's where it gets a little hairy. You know what I mean? That's where it gets a little like iffy, because people have a tendency to be like, you know, fuck what they think. I'm going to live my life. But then they want to like 100% disrespect your space and your rights. You can't do that either, people. Don't be an idiot. Live your life. Do you without infringing upon the rights of others. That's it, man. That's all we got tonight. Thank you for tuning into the Do Work Podcast. You can find us on Spotify, Apple, and wherever you stream your podcast. If you haven't, make sure to subscribe to the newsletter at divarichards.com. Make sure to check out our store, get you some merch. My favorite piece right now, business is my sport. Make sure to support Business is My Sport. You can get that on hardworknoexcusesapparel.com. Use code DOWORK and it should get you 20% off. And if it's not 20, it's something like that. I ain't gonna lie. I don't remember right now. But guys, I love you. I appreciate you. Remember, please don't forget it. Fuck what they think. Nothing changes unless you do. Nothing changes unless you do the work. Let's go.